back to another episode of the Black and Gold Standard podcast. And tonight I want to talk about the draft a little bit. And what I want to talk about is I just have a question. Do you think the Steelers kind of put themselves behind the eight ball a little bit? And what I mean by that is I understand with the trade um, they did with Deontay Johnson, but also I think they might they might have to rush that trade just a little bit, just on the fact of they didn't want to pay him. I think they was going to have to pay him a roster bonus. So I think they probably wanted to, get him off the books before that came due. But I also think they really thought that they was going to be able to sign Mike Williams. I think they really wanted to get a deal done with him, and I think they probably thought just riding the momentum of what they had, with getting Russell Wilson and all that, that they was going to be the last visit, and they was going to be able to close the deal on him. But he didn't. The Jets had other ideas and kept him in the building and got that deal done. So he never even made it to the Steelers. So I think that kind of blew up on him. And then also I think with the center position, I just think that, they had bought some guys in early. I think they had bought one guy in before free agency even started. But I think the market for the centers and guards and all that, I think the market came out to be much bigger than what the Steelers probably had budget for, and couldn't get a deal done with some of them guys, and they wasn't able to sign a center. So I'm thinking in their big picture, they probably thought going into the draft that they probably was going to have their starting center and probably was going to have a starting receiver. So that took a lot of pressure off going into the draft, where they probably just was thinking, we need to get a tackle, and basically from there, just fill in the gaps, wherever, the best players available. But now I feel like they got three positions they have to um, get filled in the draft, and that would be offensive tackle, center, and wide receiver. So starting tomorrow, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna put up my mock draft, and just by going off of that, this draft is gonna be real tricky. Um, the centers, you might have a center available. They're the only one that probably has a first round grade. The offensive tackles, it's a possibility those guys are gone. So basically, the Steelers sitting at 20. They might have. I mean, the guys that I think that they want to draft, I think all those. It's a good possibility that all those guys are gone. So I just don't see the Steelers moving up in this draft just for the fact of they really don't have a lot of picks this year. Then so they need to keep that capital. So I don't see them really trying to move up and giving away picks, because like right now, there's no way they could give up their second round pick just to get one guy in the first round when you got all these big holes they got to fill. So if anything, I can see them moving down to maybe to generate some more picks, especially if all the guys that they kind of got their eye on end up getting drafted, and so it's not in their form. I mean, it'll still be some good guys there, but like I say, I just think there's a few guys that they really want, and if those guys are gone, I can see them dropping down. Now my question would be, like, even in the second round, you can get a pretty decent receiver still. So I think in that point, the receiver is not going to hurt them too bad. I just think it's the center position that's going to hurt a little bit, because like even with Frazier, I think that's a guy that they probably really got their eye on. But standing Pack in the second round, or where the Steelers are picking at, he's going to be gone by then. So my question would be, depending on how they feel about him, and if they feel like he's a day one starter, would it really hurt if you move down maybe 2, 3, 4 spots down, picked up a couple of extra draft picks, and just drafted Frazier in the first round? Um, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, you're paying him a little bit more money, but it gives you a chance to have that fifth year option on him because he'd be a first round pick. And I mean, I don't think the money is that much of a difference if he's taken in the first round, like pick 27 compared to getting picked in the second round, the 10th pick in the second round. I mean, I don't think it's that big of a money gap, but I just feel like if you really believe in that guy and you think he could be a starter for you, why wouldn't you just try to take him in the first round? Um, but this is going to be a tricky draft for them, and it's kind of hard because you never know what Omar is doing, and like I said, it's a possibility that they have an eye on the guy that maybe a lot of people are not talking about, but they feel like he fits their system, and they might say, hey, we can definitely get this guy in the third, fourth round. So, like I say, you just never really know what they're thinking. I mean, everybody is kind of guessing and kind of just putting their little spin on it, but nobody really knows. I mean, we're not in that war room with them, but just on the outside looking in, it's kind of getting a little dicey here. Like I said, receiver wise, I can't see them taking a receiver in the first round unless um, somebody drop that. It could happen because I think it's going to be a run on these quarterbacks, and especially if Penix end up moving into the first round, um, that could drop some guys. So that might be a possibility for them to take a receiver in the first round. Center, I really don't see them taking a center in the first round. But again, like I say, if you feel like, um, I think the kid out of Oregon will be gone. He's gonna drop. And actually, he might be there at the Steelers at 20 for the Steelers, but I've been hearing that he has some medical situations that teams are kind of shying away. So I don't I don't know if he's a pick for them. And like I said, I think at that point, if all those tackles are gone, you move down. Um, the kid from Oregon may be gone if you move down like to 20, 24, 27, somewhere around in there. So it's just gonna be a sticky situation. But like I say, nobody can really say what Omar got up his sleeves because that's the one thing that I kind of like. I mean, before you could the Steelers was kind of predictable what they was going to do or not do, but now can't nobody really say because um, they're pretty aggressive and they kind of do some things out the norm. So we'll see how that goes. Um, Other than that, like I say, I just think it's going to be a situation where um, this thing could blow up on them a little bit. Um, but they got their plan, so we'll just have to see how that go. And like I said, tomorrow I'll release my first mock draft, and I'm going to do one tomorrow, Then we'll do another one next week, and then we'll do one the week of the draft, and just kind of see. We'll kind of keep a track of those 3 mocks and see how close we got and how many hits that we got off of there. But like I say, it's this could really be a tricky draft, and I think the Steelers probably are more of candidates of moving down than moving up. I said the only way I can see them moving up, it would really have to be somebody that they feel like we just can't pass this guy. He's dropped, and we have to go after him. But other than that, I really can't see them moving up for anybody. Um, but again, you never know. You never know. So that's it for now, and we will talk tomorrow, and we will do our first mock draft, and we'll see how everything go. All right, take care. Talk to you later.